Have you ever wondered what true inner peace feels like? Our story begins with Hearth, a humble villager wrestling with such a question. In a peaceful corner of the world, nestled amidst verdant hills and winding rivers, lived a man named Hearth. His life was simple, yet it was marked by a profound sense of unrest. Hearth found himself ensnared in the throes of his past and a future that seemed as unpredictable as the wind. These uncertainties kept him awake at night, stirring within him a thirst for tranquility. Hearth was not a man of wealth or grand ambitions. His life was rooted in the rhythm of the seasons, the tilling of the soil, and the warmth of community. Yet even with the simplicity of his existence, he was unable to escape the shadow of his doubts. Rumors of a wise sheikh residing high up in a distant mountain reached Hearth's ears. This sheikh was known far and wide for his profound understanding of the Quran and Hadith, his wisdom often sought by those grappling with life's conundrums. It was said that the sheikh's words had the power to soothe troubled hearts and guide lost souls. Believing that the sheikh held the answers to his questions, Hearth decided to undertake the journey to the mountain. The path was steep and treacherous, mirroring the inner turmoil that Hearth sought to overcome. Yet he pressed on, driven by the hope of finding the peace that had long eluded him. The journey was not just a physical one, it was a pilgrimage of the soul. Hearth was not merely seeking answers to his questions. He was searching for a deeper understanding of himself and his place in the grand tapestry of existence. He yearned to silence the cacophony of his doubts and listen to the symphony of serenity. And so, with a heart full of questions, Hearth embarked on a journey towards self-discovery. High up in the mountains, Hearth found the wise sheikh, a man known for his deep understanding of life's deepest mysteries. It was a journey of many days and nights through valleys and over hills, but Hearth's determination was unwavering. He had heard tales of the sheikh's wisdom, stories that painted him as a man of deep insight, a man who had unraveled the mysteries of existence through the Quran and Hadith. When Hearth first laid eyes on the sheikh, he was taken aback. The sheikh was not a towering figure of authority, but a humble man with a gentle smile that held a world of wisdom. His eyes sparkled with a serenity that was as captivating as it was calming. He was not just a man of profound knowledge, but also of profound peace. As Hearth approached, the sheikh welcomed him with open arms as if he had been expecting him. "You've come a long way," he said, his voice as soothing as a lullaby. "What brings you up this mountain, my son?" Hearth, now standing in the presence of the sheikh, felt an overwhelming feeling of peace. He felt safe, seen, and most importantly, heard. Hearth shared his journey, his doubts, and his fears. He spoke of his internal struggles, his quest for peace, and the confusion that clouded his mind. The sheikh listened, his gaze unwavering, his attention undivided. There was no judgment in his eyes, only understanding. He had heard these stories before, tales of lost souls seeking guidance, and he knew that Hearth was no different. The sheikh was a beacon of wisdom, a man who had dedicated his life to understanding the divine teachings of the Quran and Hadith. His reputation was not unearned. He was known far and wide for his ability to guide lost souls, to illuminate the path of those who sought his counsel. His wisdom was not just built on knowledge, but on empathy, understanding, and most importantly on trust in Allah's infinite wisdom. Little did Hearth know this encounter would change his life forever. The sheikh, with his deep understanding and gentle guidance, would lead Hearth on a journey of self-discovery, of finding inner peace, and of learning to trust in a higher power. The sheikh listened to Hearth's worries and then gave him an unusual task: to transfer water from one vessel to another. In the serene silence of the sheikh's humble abode, the sheikh, with a twinkle in his eyes, handed Hearth two vessels. One was filled to the brim with water, while the other was empty. The task was simple: to transfer water from the filled vessel to the empty one. But there was a catch. The sheikh instructed Hearth to do this without spilling a single drop. At first, Hearth was puzzled. What could possibly be the purpose of such an odd task? He looked at the sheikh, his eyebrows furrowed in confusion, but the sheikh merely nodded encouragingly, signaling him to begin. With a sigh, Hearth picked up the filled vessel, his hands trembling slightly. He carefully started pouring the water into the other vessel, his entire focus on not spilling a drop. His heart pounded in his chest as he watched the water level rise in the second vessel. As he poured, he found his mind beginning to clear, his thoughts becoming centered on the task at hand. Suddenly he understood this was not about the water. It was not about the vessels. It was about his mind, his worries, his doubts, his fears. They were like the water, constantly threatening to spill over. Trying to control everything was like trying to pour water without spilling a drop, nearly impossible. Harth realized that the sheikh was teaching him a lesson about letting go of the need to control everything, a lesson about focusing on the present, about being mindful of the task at hand, a lesson about surrendering his worries, his fears, his doubts to Allah. And so he continued pouring. With each drop of water that fell into the second vessel, he felt a burden lift off his shoulders. He felt a sense of calm wash over him. He felt at peace. While Harth struggled with the task, the sheikh watched him patiently, a knowing smile on his face. As Harth persisted with his task, a sudden realization dawned upon him. Enveloped in the quiet atmosphere of the mountain, he found himself wrestling with the water, just as he had been wrestling with his worries. Each drop that slipped through his fingers represented a worry he had clung onto, and each one was as elusive as the last. His efforts to contain the water mirrored his futile attempts to control his life's uncertainties. In this laborious process, the metaphor became clear. The water was not meant to be held onto. It was meant to flow freely, to find its own path, to surrender to the natural course of life. The water didn't resist, it didn't fight back, it simply was. It was a lesson Harth had long needed to learn. He had been so caught up in his fears, his doubts, his past and future, that he had forgotten to live in the present. He had been so focused on controlling his destiny that he had overlooked the beauty of the journey. He had been so intent on holding on to his anxieties that he had neglected the serenity that came with letting go. Suddenly Harth understood the wisdom in the sheikh's words. He realized that his worries were like the water, transient and ever-changing. They were not meant to be held on too tightly, but to be acknowledged and then released. He understood that true tranquility did not come from control, but from surrender. From letting go of the need to dictate every aspect of his life and trusting in the divine plan of Allah. His heart lightened as he saw his anxieties for what they truly were. Temporary, fleeting, and not worth the energy he had been pouring into them. He realized that his peace did not lie in the grip he had on his worries, but in the release of them. In the silence of the mountain, Harth embraced the present moment. He let go of his need to control, to worry, to fear. He surrendered to the flow of life, to the wisdom of Allah. In that moment, Harth understood the true meaning of surrender and the peace it brings. With his newfound wisdom, Harth returned to his village, a changed man. His strife was replaced by serenity, his doubts by steadfast faith. Harth had transformed not merely on the surface, but deep within his core. His steps were lighter, his eyes brighter, reflecting the inner peace he had discovered. No longer did he wrestle with the past or worry about the future. He lived in the present, savoring each moment as a divine gift. The lessons from the sheikh were not just understood, they were embodied. Harth was a living testament to the power of surrender, the futility of control, and the tranquility that comes from trusting in Allah's wisdom. His life became a beacon radiating calm and inspiring others to embark on their own journeys of self-discovery. Harth's journey had led him to inner peace, a peace he now carried within himself. Harth's story is a reminder to us all, a tale of a journey towards inner peace. It teaches us the profound lessons of surrendering control and embracing the present moment. In his pursuit of tranquility, Harth sought the guidance of the wise sheikh. The sheikh's counsel, steeped in the wisdom of the Quran and Hadith, illuminated Harth's path. He learned that the quest for control is as futile as attempting to transfer water with bare hands. True peace, he discovered, blooms from trust in divine providence and acceptance of life's uncertainties. Harth's transformation is a testament to the power of these lessons. His newfound calm, and deeper trust in Allah are reflections of his transition from a state of worry and doubt to one of serene acceptance. His story is a beacon of hope, illuminating the path to inner peace. Just like Harth, may we all find the peace we seek within ourselves.